What stories belong in public? Regeneration is a nationwide participatory public art and history project organized by Monument Lab and supported by the Mellon Foundation. 10 teams, led by artists, educators, storytellers, and organizers, each pursued a commemorative campaign rooted in the living history of their neighborhood, city, or region. In addition to catalytic funding, organized workshops, advisors, convenings, and roundtables helped to build coalition. A bigger table, a deeper bench, a nationwide partnership of practitioners across the country creating visions for the next generation of monuments. These 10 teams offer us a glimpse of what's possible when we demand that monuments must change.
This is not just a piece of art. It's more than art. It's a healing. It's history.
The Moore-Up campus from Montgomery, Alabama, reclaims the narrative of Black women's bodies and health. Building on their monument to Anarcha, Lucy, and Betsy, the mothers of gynecology, they are creating a space where learning and storytelling can defy histories of violence and pain and help forge a new path towards reproductive justice. Tongva, the first peoples of Los Angeles, are still the people of Los Angeles. The land under the plinth is reclaiming space dedicated to colonial figures and urbanization. They are building an emergent conservancy and space for engagement within the Tongva community, while deploying digital and analog tools to share visions for how LA's first peoples want to project themselves into the future of this metropolis. Rooted at the Griot Museum, the city's first cultural institution dedicated to revealing the broad scope of Black history and culture, the Black Herstory Initiative honors the political, social, and cultural legacies of Black women leaders who have shaped St. Louis, past and present, using oral histories, co-curated public programming, and herstory memory markers. By centering Black women and femme poets, Consensus is honoring and archiving the present. First name graces. We on a first name basis with the Black femme Philly poet of the past. Ancestors.
We created something historic here in Philadelphia. This is, as far as we know, the first gathering of this kind. It's going to be spoken about and whispered about in this community, but also written about.
We did this magician's act of having very little time and making it feel like we carved out more time for Black women and femme poets.
We did the survey, did the clearing, and now we have the score with the soundscape.
Hold steady on me.
This 20-minute musical celebration broken into the past, the present, and the future.
We thought about what is the material that we as poets work with. We work with words and sound.
We want the sounds and the history of this community to live on.
The idea is that we can share it with a wider public. This 20-minute track is the foundation for a lot of other work that we can do in the future. We can activate it in public space. We can activate it through performance. We can share it through workshops and engage people in writing to it.
I think it's a movement. I don't think this is just it. It's a once and done. It's gonna live on.
Ritual.
She sang her newly birthed songs to me over the phone, guitar and melody.
The Filipino diaspora has created a strong foothold in the heart of Queens, New York, culminating in a monument to the legendary Tandang Sora. This team uses art, dance, and architecture to celebrate legacies of immigrant labor and the generations of care workers who are the backbone of this thriving community, Little Manila. Archivos del Caribe uses digital tools and participatory methods to take a deep dive into oral histories, architectural records, and family archives across rural areas of Puerto Rico, preserving the complex past and present of this historic region. The Battle of Blair Mountain is one of the most important moments for the American labor movement. Courage in the Hollers memorializes this history for the people and communities at the heart of it.
Working people's stories are important. It's been amazing to watch that start to scale out of West Virginia and Eastern Kentucky and out of Central Appalachia, where people around the country see it and see that same thing. Like maybe they're not Appalachian, but they see working class history and people taking that seriously, and then they start thinking about their own stories.
Taking the vision of the community members, comments, things that were coming out of these public meetings and turning it into real life, actual things that you can see and not just talk about. And we really leaned on the community-driven process to do that.
My dad started in the mines when he was 13. If the only male in the household was killed underground, the families were kicked out of the house because there's nobody to work. Took all their belongings, threw them out in the street.
They really took the time to listen to us, and my family will be forever memorialized in that monument. Coming from a coal miner's family and being a coal miner's daughter, this is very important to me, and I'm very proud to be a part of this.
Dr. King, greatest civil rights leader ever, said something that challenges us all. He said, if you don't have something you would die for, you don't have a life worth living. These miners that came through here, they believed that the Union was worth dying for. It was worth dying for.
The history of the labor movement. This was the beginning. This was the beginning, and this is what brought workers' rights to the whole country.
Using traditional tile and mosaic artwork, La Doce engages intergenerational collaboration to create a much-needed community plaza. Their installation grew out of and alongside participatory action research and organizing for a community land trust, a model that may protect their neighborhoods from looming gentrification. Our relationship with the land we walk upon is handed down over generations. Walking with Dineta is a community art and trail walking initiative that integrates stories, memories, and traditions from Navajo elders and youth into trail markers, artwork, and plantings to preserve connection to the land and each other across generations. The Dineta team has leveraged their project model into grant support for broadband expansion for the Diné communities around the Four Corners region. Rapid City Indian Boarding School Lands Project draws on courage and purpose from across generations and tribal communities to ensure that the memories of stolen children are protected and their lives held sacred.
Approximately 10 years ago, there was an effort here to tell the history of Susan, the Indian Health Service Hospital. Elder people, particularly the women, asked, "Where are the children? What are you going to do about the children buried there? Don't forget them. Don't forget the children." It's a beginning of a healing journey that we're wanting to take place here in Rapid City because there's been a lot of pain.
My grandmother was one of them after she had survived Wounded Knee.
Alonzo Little Chief, Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe, age 16. Alfred Old Dog.
Living in the shadow of Mount Rushmore, sometimes it does feel impossible. Sometimes it feels like we will never rewrite history or add to history. Like, it's set in stone, literally, in our community. But these are the seeds. We are able to build our monument in the way that, again, aligns with our spiritual values. But looking forward, you know, these youth, they just carry it with, it's just strength. It's like they got all of the resiliency, the strength that our ancestors, our grandparents, our great-grandparents were forced to build. Now they're handed all of that. It's in their DNA, and they're taking out the trauma.
There's a reason why a lot of us don't speak Lakota, that don't know our way of life, is because our grandparents and our great-grandparents were scared that what happened to them would happen to us. Well, I just want to let you know now that it's safe now. You know, we're gonna do what we can to make sure that your voices are heard. We're gonna make sure that your voices are felt.